Hi, I'm Kimberly. Welcome back to the Success Series Talks. Talks designed to help you get what you want out of life. Remember to listen, take notes, and most importantly, act. Have you ever watched the Disney animated movie Mulan? So this is one of my favorite stories. I've always kind of related to Mulan, and I'd be willing to bet that some of you can relate as well. If you remember from the story, Mulan didn't quite fit in very well with what everyone else saw for her life. In her family and in her culture, it was very important for the women to be feminine and to get married. But Mulan's life had a different purpose. Not that there was anything wrong with her getting married and having a family, but there were additional things that she needed to do first. In the process of trying to figure out who she was and what her purpose was, she risked hers and her family's honor. She wasn't perfectly dainty and good at being a people pleaser, and so she failed at impressing the matchmaker. Then a war broke out, and she was more outspoken than women were supposed to be, and said that her father shouldn't have to go. If you remember, there's a part in there where her father says, "I know my duty. It is time you learned yours." The problem was that the part she was to play wasn't the part everyone thought she should play. There finally came a part where they discovered what she had done by running away and being in the army, and they discovered her, and she was in trouble for playing what was considered a man's part. She gets exiled from the army, and now she's guaranteed to bring dishonor to her family. She then sees something that makes her decide to risk her life yet again to save China. And because of her, the emperor saved and China is free. At least, this is how the Disney version portrays it. So when she returns back home and tells her family what was done and what the emperor gave her to give to them, they are proud of what she has done and who she has become. We all like this because in the end, the person fulfills their purpose and has a meaningful life. Maybe while we watch it, we even dream about doing something like that. But then we push the thought out of our brains. However, did you know that you have a purpose? It's true. Every person on earth has a purpose. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. Do you know what the odds are of anyone having the same personality, talents, and experience as you? Pretty much zero. That is why you are important and what you do matters. There is something that is unique to you that only you can do. Others can try to fill in your spot, but unless they have everything aligned the same as you, it just won't be as good. Winston Churchill said, "To every man, and I would add woman, there comes in his lifetime that special moment when he is figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered a chance to do a very special thing unique to him and fitted to his talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds him unprepared or unqualified for that which would be his finest hour." What a powerful quote. The thing is, he would know. So he didn't start off being the great hero we think of. First of all, he was born prematurely. Then he was raised by a nanny, and he seldom saw his parents. And he was eventually sent to a boarding school. He was horrible in school and was constantly getting in trouble and punished. And he didn't get good grades because he hated studying. And then, to make it worse, he wasn't going to be able to get into a university because he wasn't smart enough. Well, he finally decides that he's going to apply for an officer training school. And even that wasn't looking very good because he kept failing the exam. But finally, after the third attempt, he passed the exam. So no one who knew him thought to themselves that someday Winston's going to become one of the most well-known public figures. However, he took the talents he did have and he became a success. Now, I can hear you saying, "Yeah, sure. But that was him and, well, this is me. And there's nothing important for me to do." So let me take it down just a notch to something not so obviously grand or spectacular. What if Abraham Lincoln's stepmom hadn't spent the time she did with him? What she did may seem insignificant to most people. She was just a mom, right? Wrong. She was uniquely equipped to be the one to help prepare the great Abraham for the role he would play in this country. She may have thought she was unimportant, but what if she hadn't played her role or thought it was unimportant and hadn't put any time into it at all? How many of you are parents out there? Have you ever thought about the importance of your role as a parent in the future of this world? That maybe, just maybe, you putting your best effort into that role will someday change millions of lives? What if you really only helped to change 10 people's lives? Let's say you didn't go out and your son didn't become Winston Churchill or the President of the United States or anything super grand like that, would it still be worth it? Just like compounding interest on money, there is compounding interest on influence. For example, let's say I help 10 people, and then 3 of those, just 3, go on to help another 10 people. Well, now 40 people have been influenced by me either directly or indirectly. And then that will continue to go on, right? Some of those are going to help others, and in time, hundreds and then thousands will be helped. Much of this may even happen in my lifetime. So how important are you? To the person whose life you changed, your value is without measure. So many people just live their lives in a non-directional, non-purposeful way. For many of them, it is because they either don't know that there is something more out there, or they are afraid to try because of low self-esteem or just fear. A lot of people don't know that they have a purpose, or the fact that they are not living their purpose. It hasn't even occurred to them. Maybe you're wondering, how would I know if I were living my purpose? Well, for one, you will feel good about it. It will bring you fulfillment. Does your current occupation of time, aka your job or your hobbies or the time you spend watching TV, bring you fulfillment? If not, it probably isn't your purpose. You will know when you are living your purpose. There may be some of you who are thinking, my purpose isn't something I could make enough money to live on. Maybe it is something non-profit or a missionary or something. Even being a teacher or a pastor won't earn you a lot of money. The problem here is that we are assuming that we have 2 choices. We can be a poor starving missionary at the mercy of other people's donations, or work for 45 years and try to save it up so we can be a missionary for 5 to 10 years and just hope that maybe our health will be good enough when we get to that point. There are other options. Try this scenario on for size. What if you did some investing? Whether that was in businesses or whether that was in some sort of, stock market, or you open something up. So I'm talking about, getting a financial advisor and getting some people to help you, and you go all out. And then while you're building that, you get the best employment options you could possibly get. And then you live super frugally for maybe 5 years, maybe 10, maybe less. And then you invested with super laser focus. And then one day, after 10 years, you retired. And you had made enough money during that 10 years to be able to live off the interest from your ventures. Now, take note, we're not going to touch the capital, right? Because you don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden egg. So you're just going to leave that there, and you're just going to live off of the interest, so it'll just keep coming in year after year after year. And then you had plenty of money to spend while still young and healthy for what you feel like your purpose is. Your purpose should not be what you do as an afterthought at the end of your life, if you have time. That is like, just waiting until all your other bills are paid, and then maybe you'll see about doing something that you enjoy doing, or having something left over for donations, or maybe you like to donate to charities or whatever, but you're going to wait till everything else is done, and then maybe if you happen to have a little extra, you'll give it. Okay, this mindset and way of doing things will not get you very far. Chances are you're never going to pay the charity or tithing for the church or whatever it is that you may be doing. You have to plan for these things. You have to be intentional, and you have to make a goal, and then you have to do that first. You have to make it a priority. So your purpose needs to become a priority in your life somehow. There are so many options out there, and most of us don't even know what they are. Since graduating from college, I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot more than I learned in college. At this point, I have probably learned more since college on some topics than people who go and get a master's or doctorate learn on those same topics. I didn't know how many different options there were. There are jobs I didn't even know existed. But I started reading books and coming across all these interesting ways to earn money, some of which are far more exciting to me than what I actually chose to go into when I was in college. The funny thing is, I think if I had known about some of them when I was younger, I would have done those instead of what I did. A lot of the choices that your high school counselor will give you for jobs will be ones that you're not interested in. But if you don't know better, you will, like most people, pick one and never know that your dream job or your purpose lays somewhere else in a job that isn't part of the ones we commonly think about. It took me a long time to figure out what it was I really wanted to do with my life. And instead of people listening to my desires and then directing me in different options, everyone kept saying something stupid like, well, there aren't many options for that. You should become a secretary. No joke. The funny thing is, what I finally figured out is what what I want to do was very realistic, very low cost, and would make me lots of money and would help lots of people in the process, and would be a lot of fun and challenging so I wouldn't get bored. It also helps create positions for other people. It took me 20 years after graduating to realize this and to finally come up with the idea that combined hobbies and interests and expertise and talents can go together, and I finally came up with my purpose. Now, the world could have had this 15 years ago, but I didn't have knowledge or understanding of any of this then, and obviously, neither did anyone else in my life. But now, I do, and I can live my purpose. You have the same power, but you are going to have to learn about different options. There is a chance that you are not aware of your purpose yet, or that your purpose doesn't even exist yet, but it will shortly with advances in different areas, right? There are jobs being created constantly. Technology is just opening up opportunities that were not available, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you could not have been a person on YouTube and gotten known and ended up becoming a singer or something. That was not an option. Okay, but now with all the advent of the coming of so much technology and Apple's been booming and YouTube and Facebook, there are so many more options out there for you. So be constantly researching and looking stuff up to find your purpose. Once you find it, grasp tightly and don't you dare let go. Don't let anyone else talk you out of it. Don't let anyone else crush that dream. You just stick with it and say, no, this is what I'm going to do. Okay? So I talked about how some people don't even know what is out there, and that may be you. So if it is, may I suggest a couple of things? Number one, read interesting books about people's lives, or ones that have a compilation of lots of inspiring stories in there. Chances are you will get some ideas for your own life. People who are inspired inspire others. So start reading the inspiring stories that got people to where they are. Also, if you start reading a lot, you may hear about a job that you've never heard of before that may be right up your alley. Someone out there has the knowledge for the key to your life. If you haven't found that person yet, I would start reading as often as possible, like your life depends on it, because it does. Number two, meet people. I know some of you are introverts and don't particularly like talking to people. There are lots of books written by introverts that will help you discover how to be the best you can be as an introvert without changing your whole personality. Every personality can improve and become better within their own realm. Besides, no one is actually meant to live all by themselves and never associate with anyone else ever. We really do function best when we are around others, at least for a certain amount of time or to a certain extent. It is good for us to do that. So meet new people. Try going to things where you're likely to meet someone that you're not normally around, that aren't the normal people you would meet. Again, someone has the answer to what your purpose is. As you meet people, the likelihood of you finding that purpose will expand. It will explode. The person you meet may be in an area you're interested in, or they may have connections that can open up other opportunities for you. You can either choose to stay comfortable now and continue to live a life you don't want, spending time doing things that don't interest you, or you can choose to get out of the comfort zone a little, knowing that eventually it will become your new comfort zone, right? Comfort zones expand as we get used to them. And then you will have a greater opportunity for finding what you do love and enjoying the rest of your life. Number three, use the internet. Okay, I talked about how this has become a big thing and it's important. We live in an amazing time. No matter how old you are, you can learn to type things into Google and start reading articles about it. If you are really interested in fishing and can't figure out how to make it into a profession, start looking up things about fishermen and the creative ways they make money. Chances are there are hundreds of ways, from taking private tour groups to teaching to blogging, and who knows what else. I mean, go look this up. If you are super interested in gardening, start looking that up. Same thing with crocheting or hiking or swimming. There is probably someone who has figured out different ways to make a good living with what you are interested in. And if you start searching, you will find a way that you can make money too. The good news is a lot of these probably aren't that expensive to get started. For some reason, when someone says, start your own business, everyone still panics and thinks, it is expensive and likely to fail and I could never do that. If all you are thinking about is a brick and mortar business or one where you have to take out hundreds of thousands in loans, then you need to do some research and realize how much things have changed. Or if necessary, don't try to start so big all at once. Start small, start making money, and then expand. So those are just 3 suggestions, but ones that don't take much time or effort to start doing today. I mean, they will take time and they will take effort, right? But you could start them while doing another job even if you needed to, or there's just different options out there, okay? So fulfilling your purpose doesn't mean you have to be super poor and eat nothing but rice and beans. You can make a lot of money doing what you love. I guarantee in a world of over 8 billion people, someone out there is doing what you dream of doing and has figured out a way to make money. If you find that person and you learn from them, remember, the internet makes finding and learning from someone very easy, then you can tweak the situation they created to fit your circumstances, and you too can have what you want. Once you do, you will inspire and change the lives of others. Someone else may one day find your purpose to be similar to theirs, and as a result, they will go after their dreams. It is an amazing process of inspired people inspiring someone else. Who knows? Maybe you will find inspiring others is actually your purpose, and you'll write talks and books and become someone's hero. Take it from someone who found out that living an intentional and purposeful life is the only way to go. Imagine waking up every day excited about what you get to do. I used to never understand how some people could love working and work until they were 85. I always had the attitude of, I'm not working any minute longer than I have to before I can retire. Now I've learned that I can retire and still love what I do so much that I keep doing it because doing it energizes me. This can be you. You are capable of living your dreams and fulfilling the purpose that only you can. Thanks for listening, and make it a great day. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you can listen to other great talks. Also, give it a like and share it with others you think may benefit.